AITA for telling my dad there will be no making up for missing my high school graduation? Welcome back to Reddit Stories, where we delve into the real, emotional, controversial, and sometimes tear-jerking stories from the Reddit community. Today, we're going to explore a story that has stirred up thousands of people because of the collision between family responsibilities, fatherly expectations, and the indelible disappointment of a grown child. The story is titled, AITA for telling my dad there will be no making up for missing my high school graduation. This story comes from Reddit user throwRA-dadmissedgrad. We'll call him OP, a friend who is struggling with feelings of abandonment and lingering emotional wounds from his childhood to the present. OP grew up in a family where his parents divorced when OP was very young. OP lived with his mother and only occasionally saw his father, a busy man who always put work first. Throughout his childhood, OP did not lack material things, but always felt emotionally empty. OP always tried to study well, behave properly, hoping that one day his father would be proud and spend time with him. But every time, his father had an excuse: work, an unexpected meeting, or simply forgetting. When entering his senior year of high school, OP achieved excellent grades, passed the entrance exam to his dream university, and especially was chosen to speak at the graduation ceremony, a pride that OP had dreamed of all his childhood. OP invited her father very early. Her father promised that he would definitely come, saying, "I won't miss this moment, my child." But then, that day, the empty seat next to OP's mother was still empty. Her father didn't come. Not a single text message, not a single call. After the graduation ceremony, OP couldn't stop crying, not because of joy, but because her father's familiar absence once again pierced OP's heart. 3 days later, OP's father contacted her, explaining that he had problems at work and couldn't fly back in time, and apologized with a promise to make it up. He offered to organize a big meal, buy gifts, or take OP on a vacation. At that time, OP was no longer the naive, hopeful child. OP had grown up and understood that a timely presence is more important than 1,000 late promises. OP told her father directly, "There is no such thing as making up. Important moments only come once. You chose to miss it." OP's refusal shocked and angered her father. He called OP ungrateful and cold. Her father's family also began to criticize OP, that it's just a graduation ceremony, that children should understand their parents. But OP no longer wanted to continue the cycle of forgiveness, disappointment, waiting, then forgiveness again. OP decided to set boundaries and no longer put any effort into maintaining this one-sided relationship. For the first time, OP felt like she was no longer the little boy who kept waiting for her father to look at her. OP chose herself and left behind the father who, throughout her childhood, OP had loved unconditionally. Shortly after OP shared her emotional story on Reddit, the post quickly climbed to the top of the RMI the Asshole subreddit, garnering tens of thousands of upvotes and comments in just a few hours. The majority of Redditors sided with OP, saying that setting boundaries with a father who repeatedly broke his promises was the right thing to do. Some typical comments. OP is not at fault for her father's failure to be a father. Graduation is a milestone in her life. If he can't be there for OP, then he doesn't deserve to be there for future moments. Reparations can't be made in meals or vacations. There are some wounds that can never heal from just one abandonment. Some neutral users shared understanding perspectives from both sides. Maybe OP's father really had a serious incident at work. Maybe he really regrets it. But it's also true that OP has the right to decide what the final limit is for someone who keeps breaking promises. These people not only offered a balanced perspective, but also called for dialogue between father and son, if OP still wants it. A small group criticized OP for being too rigid, lacking forgiveness, or not understanding the pressure of adults. As a child, you have to be sympathetic. Who in life hasn't broken a promise? Getting angry like that will only make the relationship worse. OP should learn to forgive. However, comments like this are often rejected by the majority of the community. Many believe that they are dangerous justifications for a parent's lack of emotional responsibility. Top comments that are making the storm. NTA. Your dad doesn't need to be punished, but he needs to understand that a parent's presence in important moments is irreplaceable. It's not a birthday party that can be reorganized, it's a moment that cannot be repeated. And he chose not to be there. You, Modern Family, Trauma 75K upvotes. Reddit, Gold 10. 2K replies. OP's story has sparked a series of heated discussions about parents' emotional presence in childhood. Are apologies really enough if actions don't change? Setting boundaries with loved ones, difficult but necessary. The difference between forgiveness and allowing the hurt to recur. Many Reddit users also shared their own stories of parents missing appointments, of frustration at being overlooked at important moments, of the courage to say, enough is enough. After receiving overwhelming support and insightful advice from the Reddit community, OP returned with a short but powerful update, thanking the community for listening and sharing so many experiences that resonated with OP's story. Summary of updates. OP's father read the post. A relative, apparently OP's aunt, sent him a link to the post. He reached out and said he had no idea it would hit so hard. He apologized. But OP's father sent a very long message, expressing remorse, admitting that he had failed as a father, and promising to make it up by taking OP on a trip or helping with college tuition. OP felt empty. OP shared that, after reading the message, OP did not feel relieved or healed, but rather like she was taken back to square one. He still thinks he can fix it with money, with things that are peripheral, when what OP needs is being there. OP decided not to cut off contact completely, but not to open up too quickly. OP wants to take time to heal and set clear boundaries for the future. No more expectations that will only be disappointed. OP wrote that, in the past, OP felt guilty for being angry with her father. But thanks to the Reddit community, OP understood that protecting her own emotions is not selfish. It is the right thing to do. Thank you for confirming that OP's feelings are valid. OP no longer feels like a bad child just because she was disappointed in her biological father. OP said that there are still many wounds that need time to heal, but she no longer feels as alone as before. Writing the post was like an emotional release, and the Reddit community was the ones who helped OP untie the knots in his heart. This story is not simply about a father not showing up for his son's graduation. It's about years of feelings of abandonment and disrespect that have built up to the point where OP has to draw the line. OP isn't angry that her father was absent on an important day. It's that he's been absent from OP's life many times. Graduation was just the last straw. And when her father returned, thinking he could make up for it, OP couldn't pretend it never happened. The Reddit community, especially the AITA subreddit, has become a spiritual refuge for OP, helping her see the story with a clearer perspective. Many people have shared similar experiences, suggesting that this isn't an isolated case, but a common problem of irresponsibility and indifference from parents. Comments like, OP doesn't need to forgive right away. OP's hurt feelings are completely justified, helped OP remove his inferiority complex, realizing that setting boundaries is not selfish, but a mature and healthy action. Character analysis. OP, the hurt but sober child. OP knows the value of his emotions, does not allow others, even relatives, to continue to hurt him. What is precious about OP is that despite being heartbroken, OP does not completely cut off, but chooses to set limits. A very mature and courageous action. The father, the man tries to compensate with material things. The father in the story is not necessarily a bad person. He is just a person who is too slow in learning how to be a father. But his prolonged indifference makes his later efforts lose their true emotional value. His choice of travel money to compensate is an unsophisticated approach, further showing that he does not understand what OP really needs. Lessons learned. Love does not always come with responsibility. A person is called a father or mother, but if they are not present at the right time, if they do not care properly, that relationship can also be broken. Forgiving does not mean ignoring. There are hurts that cannot be forgotten just because of an apology or a gift. Setting boundaries with loved ones is necessary. If they continue to hurt, keeping your distance is self-love. And finally, we have the right to be sad, the right to be angry, and the right to not forgive immediately. Those feelings do not make us bad people. They make us human beings who know how to protect ourselves. And that's the whole emotional story of OP, who bravely stood up to tell the truth about the father-daughter relationship, a relationship that seems sacred, but is very fragile when lacking genuine care. If you have ever had the same feelings as OP, feeling abandoned, being ignored by your loved ones, remember, you are not alone. Your feelings are valid, and you have the right to say no to continued hurt. Share your feelings in the comments section. Your story could be a light to someone out there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on honest and profound stories like this on Reddit Stories. See you in the next video. Goodbye, and I hope you always know how to protect your own emotions.